All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line. You can follow him on Twitter at RaceWeather, along with Brian Newdorf at NASCAR_WXMAN, keeping us up to date on all the weather happenings. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Aaron Studwell. Sir, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm doing well, and yourself?
I am pretty good for a Tuesday. It's show day. It's beautiful weather. Had some beautiful weather this weekend. Had a great time up here in Metro Detroit. So I'll take it.
Good. No, you guys have, after the weird May y'all had, yeah, you've definitely earned a nicer June.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, we were supposed to have race weekend last weekend here at MIS under the normal schedule, and it would have been a picture-perfect weekend, which MIS never just gets like, yeah, don't even worry about it, enjoy yourself type thing, and that's what we would have had.
Yeah, but we'll look ahead to Talladega, and
Yes.
you guys will hopefully get your race, governor permitting, and
Yes.
we'll see how things pan out.
I'm hopeful. Well, listen, man, you've got some exciting news. Everyone knows that, at least if they've been listening, that you've completed your PhD and you have started your own consulting company. Why don't you do a shameless plug and tell everyone a little bit about that real quick before we get to nuts and bolts?
I'll start with the pluggy part. So that's exoconsulting.net. And I'll go a little side note here. exoconsulting.com was available, but they were willing to sell it to me for $1,100.
Yeah,
I'll
maybe after
pass.
next year's ROI comes in.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's at Exo Consulting on Twitter. And if you go to Twitter, you can see where it is everywhere else. And, it's kind of at the point where you have been looking for work for a while. And, you just say, you know what? I have to make my own opportunities. And that's really what it came down to. It
Sure.
was, I'm sitting here and looking for work, and it's not happening because of COVID, because of constricting market, because there's a lot of meteorologists out there for work. And I'm thinking, you know what? I want to come up with an idea. And I came up with the idea is exo consulting. And because I've done exoplanets, I've done planetary atmospheres. And so I've really worked with a former teammate of mine at Michigan on a lot of the branding and color schemes, and then worked with a friend of yours on the logo. And it's really all come together. So I'm just going to say the bigger, broader mission is to expand the boundaries of space through innovative research and content. We're also going to look at science fiction a bit, and then we're going to look at kind of that odd place where the two of them meet. So we'll talk alien civilizations, we'll talk
Oh, wow.
UFOs.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a little bit. We're going to stay science grounded, but these studies have been done recently, talking about the probability of life elsewhere in the galaxy, elsewhere in the universe. We have the Navy coming out with films of really kind of unidentified flying objects. We can't identify what they are. We're not saying they're aliens,
Right.
but we don't know what they are. So we'll talk about stuff like that.
Cool.
Got some
Excited.
opportunities
Excited
coming
to
up.
follow along with that. That's for sure.
Yeah, please do. And I
Yeah.
love all the your listeners to do that. And I have some opportunities that are aligning with racing that may actually bring me up to Michigan for a bit, so we could actually sit down and meet.
Absolutely. That'd be
Of all
fantastic.
things.
Yes. Yes. Very cool.
So it's going in the right direction, surprisingly. And if anybody would have told me how much work it is to start a small business, and you've been there,
Yeah.
it just never seems to end. But you have this kind of endless energy. I was up last night at around midnight doing my social media for today, making the graphics, knowing I can't have corporate logos in there from a picture I took, but don't want it to look like a McDonald's ad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No. It's when I started my credit consulting thing, it was definitely challenging. But like you said, you're doing it for yourself, so you got a little extra momentum knowing that you're doing the work for yourself and not somebody else.
That's 100% right. And that really kind of nails it. I'm my own boss, and I'm my own, I think most people are, I'm my own worst critic.
Sure.
But I know what I can do. And I know if I work hard and really find the right space, because, and I'm not being braggy. Well, you said I can be braggy, but you throw the PhD on the end of the, you throw the PhD in the end, it
It gives
opens
you
a
a
few
little
more
swagger.
doors. And
Absolutely.
it gets a little bit eyes raised eyebrows. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy is an expert at something. I don't
Right.
know what it
Right.
is,
Right.
but he's worked for 25 years.
Yeah.
He has a PhD. So you know what? We'll bring him in. We'll talk. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I
It's
love it.
not going to take race weather at all. It's still going to be very, you know, and we've talked off air. The website needs some love. The website will continue to be updated. But yeah, go to exoconsulting.net and you'll see what a website can be. And I know by doing that, I know I can elevate the rest of the brand. And that's something else. I've gone through a rebranding on race weather with the new branding on Exo Consulting, and they're all going to fall into the same LLC. So it's just real positive. I mean,
That's
real
awesome.
positives. And honestly, I see, and I had this, and I've had it out a couple different times, and I'm going to highlight it later tonight. And that you're a partner company, and you've helped me. You've been a great friend. You're giving me a chance to promote it now. You've gotten me introduced to the right people. And you come along for the ride, and you're such a great friend that I could not imagine
Oh,
not including y'all.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I love that.
Very
I
welcome.
love that. All right, let's take a left turn here, and just announced within the last 20 minutes or so the Hall of Fame nominations, and I only want to focus on one for a quick minute, and that's Dale Jr. Because I've already seen a ton of people either hell yeah that's awesome or he doesn't deserve to be in there, and I just want to talk to those people for a minute. And to those people, and don't at me. I'm going to steal one out of Brian Newdorf. Don't at me on this because I'm not even going to entertain it. Dale Jr. deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm pretty sure you're going to align with that thought process there. Um, and here's the thing, and this goes across the board for all sports. Championships don't determine, in my opinion, and I'm sticking to my opinion here, Hall of Fame worthiness. Hall of Fame, in my opinion, whether it's baseball, NASCAR, basketball, it's to a degree, it's a marketing ploy. It's a way to set up a physical brick and mortar location to attract people, to attract revenue for that Hall of Fame museum. Not that there's anything wrong with that by any means. And it's a way to celebrate careers. And whether celebrating careers means celebrating championships, I don't think those two have to go hand in hand. In my opinion, we always say Daytona's our Super Bowl. So technically that's a championship by the way a lot of NASCAR fans look at it. And I 100% think what you do as a human being and what you do for the sport that you're participating in, along with your achievements within the sport, determine Hall of Fame worthiness. And by that alone, Dale Jr., first ballot Hall of Famer.
I have no problem. And this, I'm going to take another left turn and go to baseball real quick. I have a huge problem with people saying, well, he wasn't great enough. He doesn't deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And that's what a lot of people say in baseball and how
Sure.
some voters vote and think in baseball. But yeah, you think about the era he raced from, and I've got his stats up in front of me. So he raced in Cup from '99 to 17. Not a full schedule, not all the time. But you think about the quintessential driver from that era. You have to think of Dale Jr. And I don't have the number in front of me. How many most popular drivers did he win?
Ooh,
15,
15,
17?
16, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're in the same ballpark on thoughts for that. Most popular driver, 26 wins, 260 top tens out of 631 races.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
He finished in the top 10 in the standings multiple times.
Yep.
You just can't, right. And it's what he's done off track and who he was. And it's, if you want to see what brought people to NASCAR in that early 2000s into the into the tens more with him, people were going to come to this sport more than likely as a Dale Jr. fan, whether it was because of his father or not, whether he was a legacy, the people are legacy fans or not, it doesn't matter the reason, because you've got just as many people out there saying, hey, I'm a Chase Elliott fan because I love Bill Elliott. And I think that's great for the sport.
Absolutely. 100%. Don't disagree. Alrighty, sir. We are headed to Talladega this weekend. After having 4 races in 48 hours, we're only going to get 2 races over 48 hours. But how are things looking for the Xfinity and Cup race this weekend?
Well, I'm going to throw one more in there. We do have an ARCA race that is going to be televised.
True
So if people,
story. Look at that. Look at you. I like that.
yeah, and honestly, sometimes you can tune in to lap one and have it be a wreck fest, or have them kind of go and not wreck. But oh, it's not going to be the typical Alabama summer. I will preface it with that. It's going to be hot. It is going to be sunny skies both days. Saturday highs in the low 90s, Sunday highs in the mid 90s. Light winds both days. Somehow, low humidity. So I might not even need to throw out heat indices this whole weekend. But you can say it's a dry heat,
To dry heat.
but so's my oven.
I love it. Very nice. All right. Well, hey, we'll make sure you're keeping up with Aaron and Brian throughout the week, and they'll have you covered. Sir,
It's
real
going to be
quick.
much less eventful. It's going to be much less eventful than Homestead.
Excellent. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up with some weather lapped traffic
Oh yeah.
fantasy. So the trend of who was on the previous week winning the following is now over. Last week, Brian was
Yes.
poking fun of the tie that you guys had for head to head because he was in the lead. You now hold a 4-3 lead in the head to head, and you jumped him in the standings by an 8-point lead with 1 week to go in segment one.
I know. I know. It's actually a really good week. I tweeted about that. I nailed both Xfinity wins.
Yes, that's
Enfinger, I'm not sure what happened. I just all of a sudden like looking at the standings like he's just dropping back. I'm like, yeah.
yeah. That truck race was unique to say the least in
That's a
terms
good word.
of where everybody ended up finishing, how that race went. It was good. I enjoyed it. But
Oh yeah.
it wasn't as expected, which, there's nothing wrong with things not being as expected. So I'm not going to complain about it. But
Now it gives you a reason to tune in.
absolutely. So, yes, I look forward to seeing if you can be for the first time take a 5-3 lead. That'll be fun to see. Things are narrowing down in terms of the available picks. Those will reset after
Yes.
this week. But good luck this week, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I will look forward to it. And yep, I want to continue the trend this week and go back to meteorologist of the week wins and pull out to 5-3 ahead of them.
Excellent. I love it. All right, Live Traffic Nation, make sure you follow Aaron on Twitter at RaceWeather, along with Brian Newdorf at NASCAR_WXMAN for all the updates. Aaron, great to talk to you. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks, man.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.